Before I get started here, I'd just like to apologize to all 2 of my subscribers for, taking so long to put another video out. I'm sure you've been waiting very patiently. So I don't know about you guys, but I take my model making and general custom fabricationing pretty seriously. So when my wife bought me this kit, probably 15 years ago, I knew it had to be screen accurate. It had to be as perfect and detailed as possible, and just like Homer would have wanted it. So in order to do that, I had to find some reference materials. Now, before we get into the car, which, as you've probably seen from the title of the video, it talks. If you just push on the hood here, take a listen.
Why did you come here and say that, huh? That's what I thought. Turn your walker around and hobble away, Granny. Oh, why do slow people love to be in front of me? Oh, why do fast people love to be behind me?
So hopefully you can hear that through the video. So as we go through this, I'll show you exactly how to do that and how to add all the details as per the reference manual that I found online. Now, obviously I already built this, so it can't be a step-by-step tutorial because I did build this about 20 years ago. But I'll do my best to go through the whole thing and show you exactly how you can make yours just as perfect as this one. Let's take a look at the reference material, and then we'll go through each part of it one at a time. So the reference manual I got is this book here. It's the Homer book, one of the best reads I've ever had. It's a great book. I've read it cover to cover several times. And right in the middle of it, though, we have the, back to this in a second, we have the Homer car. It's all the facts about what's in the Homer car. Starting, I don't know if you can read that or not, but it goes through everything here, and I made sure that just about everything in here was in the model. Bowling trophy hood ornament is there. That was part of the kit. Now, number 2, I don't know if you can read that or not, number 2 says Deluxe Supercharged V8 engine. Now, here's the thing about this particular kit. This kit did not come with an engine. This kit didn't even come with a hood that opens. So we had to fix that. We had to open the hood, and when I say we, I mean I. Opened the hood, and I put an engine in there. So we'll keep moving along the list here, and then we'll take a look at the model here. Now it says a horn that plays La Cucaracha. That's one thing I didn't have, but instead I made Homer talk. Hopefully that's good enough. An antenna ball, we have that. Let's see. Spoiler dolphins. Most of the stuff was with the model. I just want to point out the things that I added. Like number 8 here, extra noisy year-round snow tires. Now the model kit came with hard plastic smooth tires. That's just not going to work at all. So I had to replace the tires. We'll see how we did that. And let's see. We have... I didn't make the lights work. I should have made the lights work. Maybe the next time I build one of these, I'll make the lights work. Not pictured, gas pedal shaped like a bare foot. Now, I did make that. There is a foot-shaped gas pedal in there. Unfortunately, you can't see it because Homer's foot is on it. You'll just have to take my word for it. It is there. Basically, just cut out of styrene and painted chrome. Shag carpeting, I did put that in there. I'll show you how we do the shag carpeting. Let's see. 8-ball gear shift, that's in there. And yeah, so let's take the car apart and we'll show you how we did everything. So as we said, the hood opens, and so basically I cut out the hood and I had to put hinges in it. When I get the body off, I'll show you how the hinges work. And inside is the V8 engine that Homer specified. So when we get the body off, we'll see a better look at the engine. In the back, under the bubble, hopefully you can see that, there is shag carpeting back there. Now the way you do the shag carpeting is with, give me one second, and we find this stuff. Yeah, see, if I was prepared, I would have had this already out. All right, so for the shag carpeting, you get the fake carpet flux stuff. And I got a kit of it for another model I did a while back. And for the shag carpeting, you just kind of sprinkle in and mix all the different colors here. And it actually comes out fairly okay. I mean, it's not perfect, but you know, as best as you can see in there. And basically to add this, you just smear in some, or brush on some Elmer's glue or some other type of glue of your choice. Elmer's glue works pretty well. And just sprinkle this on, and you can pat it down a little bit or just sprinkle it on. Let it dry and then shake off the excess. All right, let's take this thing apart, and which comes in the butter knife here. Now I did want to make a special note that a butter knife is one of the most important tools in your toolbox. You can use it as a screwdriver, a hammer, a crowbar. What the heck's a crowbar? A crowbar, you know what I mean. Did I mention hammer? The end of it can be used as a hammer. Scraper, chisel, whatever you need to use it for. It's you need one of these in your shop. If you don't have one, go to your silverware drawer and get one, bring it down to your shop. Your wife won't miss it, okay? So if we flip this thing over, I did not glue the bottom on. So to take it apart, now I did have to put a little bit of hot glue melt right here just to hold the front end. So the butter knife here can be used to pull that up, and then the rest just comes out this way. The back is held in with little tabs. I don't know if you can see that very well. There's little tabs here and here. Sometimes you might need a butter knife to kind of pry those tabs out, but then the body comes off of the chassis. Now let's take a look at the body first. Take a look at these hinges. Now the hinges, open up the hood. Yeah, that's very important. Don't lose that piece. Look at that later. If you take a look at the hinges, right here, I cut those out of a thin piece of plastic. You could probably use about any material you want, brass, aluminum, circuit board, whatever. And it just gets glued to the bottom of the hinge. Gets glued to the bottom of the hinge here, and curves around, and right in here, we're not going to be able to see that very well. There's a little aluminum tube and a shaft that goes through the hinge and then through the aluminum tube, and that's where the hinge is. And see if I get a good view of that. Kind of. It's right up in here, right up in there. It's one of those things you just kind of have to play around with. I had to mock it up a few times, tack glue it, make sure it moved properly, and to get it to work right. The only issue with hinging the hood is it does hit the trophy. I just kind of had to shave the foot off of the bowling trophy, just a tiny bit, not too much. One other thing I wasn't too thrilled about with the kit is that the scoop here has a seam, and of course it's chromed parts, and I didn't really have a good way of filling in and rechroming that seam, so I guess Homer will just have to live with that. Also inside here we will see I added a little tube right here, spaced up with some styrene stock, and that little tube is for this piece that fell out earlier. It's just a piece of styrene, fits in here, and what that does is when you press on the hood, it moves that down and presses the switch, and I'll show you where the switch is here in just a second. So this is what I used to activate the talking Homer. All right, so, which I'll show you a picture here in a second of where you can get the parts for the talking Homer. Okay. Now you can put the switch anywhere you want. That's just where I chose to put it, so it would be out of sight and not too visible. Hopefully, if we can see inside the window, there's the 8-ball gear shift, and I really don't think we're going to get a view of the gas pedal. Probably not, but trust me, it's in there, and I think I even did 4 toes. I don't know. Now, one thing about the kit, there is a seam right here. Now, when I built it, I filled it, primed it, sanded it, and I painted the whole thing lime green. You can still see a little bit of a seam here. Now, if I was building this today, I would make sure that that was completely gone. But keep in mind, I built this thing probably like, I don't know, 30 years ago. So, you know, I wish I would have done a little bit of a better job there. But if you just put the kit together without painting or anything, there's going to be a huge gap right here. And, you know, same on the other side. And of course, the decals are just pill and stick stickers. And you got a little cup holder. And anyways, I think we're good here. Got the spare tire there, which I do need to talk about the tires. So let's take a look at the chassis. So here we can see the V8 engine. No drive shaft. Anyway, so I got the engine from just a normal model car. I really don't remember if it was like a monster truck or a dragster or a hot rod. I don't remember what it was. Probably like a 1/24th scale car that had a supercharged engine on it, and because again, that's what the specifications called for. And I just built the engine. I didn't do any kind of over detailing on it or anything. I just kind of built it basic gray, painted the radiator, and just threw it in there. The talking part right back here. Now, in order to make it talk, you will need the Road Rage, I think it's what it's called, Road Rage Talking Simpson. It's a little figurine that you put on the dashboard of your car, and whenever traffic gets you really irritated, you just push a button and it'll say one of like 8 or 12 phrases, and you can get that here. And also, while I'm showing you pictures, this is what the model kit looks like. And you can get both of those on eBay, or probably anywhere else online. So once you you take your model, or the talking Homer doll apart, you just take the guts out and you just find a spot to put it in here. I found it all fit very well right here. And you'll notice my my professional hot glue job here, holding everything in place. You got the speaker, the circuit board, the battery pack. It just takes 2 AAA batteries. Changing the batteries is simple enough, as you saw how we took it apart. And again, the only tool you need to do that is your butter knife. I decided to put the switch right here. And again, I wanted to make it to where when you press down on the hood, it pressed on the switch. So that's why I had that tube and that little styrene rod. So if we just kind of hold it together here, then that would be setting like that. So every time you press on the hood, it would press on the rod.
Nothing like a nice drive in the country to clear your head and soothe your... I'm up!
All right. Again, nothing too complicated here. It was just wherever you find room to park the parts here. Now the tires are probably one of the more complicated parts of it, because if we take a look back at the reference material, he specifically calls for, if I can find them right here, extra noisy year-round snow tires. Now those smooth, hard plastic wheels just weren't going to work. So I went to the toy store and I was looking for a car that had tires of the right size, and took a while, but I finally found, I think it was like a Hot Wheels monster truck. So these are actually off of a monster truck from a smaller car, and basically I just cut the hard plastic wheel, or the tire, off of the wheel. I took the rubber, so these are actually hard rubber. I had to trim those a little bit to shape them to fit, and I put them onto the plastic wheel and just kind of epoxied them in place there. And there's a little bit of a seam, but you know, it's not too bad. I think they look okay. And I had to get 2 of those cars because remember, there's a spare. You know, one for all 4 of these and 1 extra car for the spare tire. But they were cheap enough. Yeah, I probably should paint the exhaust. I should paint all this stuff down here. But nobody's ever going to see that, right? Okay, so that pretty much wraps it up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully you'll go buy your own, throw one together. You can still get the stuff on eBay. The price of the model has gone up pretty much though. When my wife bought this for me, I don't know, like probably 35 years ago, I think it was like $15. The cheapest I've seen them on eBay now is $45. But still, it's a fun build, and hopefully you'll make one of your own. So thanks for watching. Bye.